Especially because the comments that she has made that you might be married to me, but you do what she tell you to do.
All right, guys, I put this video together for you while I'm out here camping in the woods. And the issue that the couple's working on this time is something like, do you prioritize my feelings over your ex-wives? Ooh, that's kind of juicy, right? This couple and their issue, as usual, is no match for the YBAngry Couples Game and me.
First and foremost, the husband that I have, the man that he is, I want first preference with that. But if you were to ask me of something that, an issue that we just haven't seemed to be able to get on the same page or line up, or at least change the way I feel about a certain matter, it would be the way I feel as far as me feeling having a stance as his wife when it comes to his ex-wife.
Oh, okay. So if you get a chance to go to my website, then there's a section in there, too much of your ex, something like that. So I've got like 5 or 6 categories. So there's some, do you talk to your ex-wife too much? Do you see your ex? Just there's a few ex situations. You guys can watch those videos. And but let's play the game. Okay. So tell me what's the issue with the ex-wife? Is this okay so far?
Yeah. Now, if you didn't know, my son's upstairs. So.
Okay.
And she's actually confirmed it, as a matter of fact, again this week.
No, don't
Okay.
talk about it. Just tell me what we're going to resolve it in the game.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to help you right now figure out, because remember we have to take this issue and convert it into a yes or no question. We're going to make it really simple.
Okay.
Now, all that stuff you just said, if you had to make it a yes or no question, what would that be? Do you prioritize me over your ex-wife?
That's what I would say.
That's it. So this question is
based
really
on how
important.
It makes me feel.
Well, what I'm saying now is it's really important to get the right question right.
Okay.
So this would be, do you prioritize me over your ex-wife? You think no. Is that right?
Yes.
And he thinks yes.
Yes.
Right. So if you guys are able to, you think yes?
Do I prioritize her over my ex-wife? The answer is yes. Okay. She's my top priority.
Okay. So the way you're going to win the game, so this is kind of a game you can't win by yourself. Right. The relationship has to win or you both lose. The way you win is you both agree, yes, he prioritizes you over his ex-wife, which is going to be a win for you, right? If you end up feeling that way or realizing that. Or you both agree, no, he doesn't prioritize you over his ex-wife. If you both agree that, then you will do better. And you'll realize you might realize what's making her feel that way and do better, most likely, right? Sometimes a couple has to make a step. So it's not a yes or no, like one couple. I did this one lesbian couple, and theirs was, should you carry the baby? Should the what's the new word? What's the word? The guy one now.
Stud. Okay.
Should the stud carry the baby? I didn't know that.
I knew that.
But is that what it is? Stud. Yeah.
Anyway, it was, should the stud carry the baby? I'm like, oh man, how is this gonna work? That's why she's a stud. She don't right. But they resolved it because they decided that she would go to the doctor. And see if she was healthy enough to do it. That was her main issue, was that she didn't think she was healthy enough. So you guys might come to some middle ground, but either way, if you come to an agreement, then your relationship is better because it won't be stressing your relationship too much. Okay, so here, do you right in this section, and I don't have the games, do you prioritize me more than your ex-wife?
That's what I would write.
Yes, that's the issue, the yes or no issue we're going to resolve. So with the game,
and just when we use the word prioritize, that could be of interpretation. Like,
so this is really important. Is there a better word than prioritize? I don't want to talk about the issue too much. Right. Is there a better word than prioritize? Do you consider my feelings more than your ex-wife is?
That's what it is.
It's really important to come up with the right thing.
Yes.
Do you prioritize, was it prioritize my feelings over, what did I say? Consider my feelings over your ex-wife's. Okay. One of the benefits of the game is it causes us to focus on this issue. Okay. You're not going to be talking to her about how much money she's spending on remodeling the house, and she's not going to be complaining to you about trimming your beard. I don't know. Okay. All right. But everything we're going to talk about is in relationship to this.
Okay.
This step here is where you guys will write down one issue that supports your yes position.
Okay.
And you'll write down one issue that supports your no position.
Okay.
These spaces are small because it's not meant for you to say a lot. That's important. Try to keep your point short.
Okay.
Okay. One of the reasons why it works and it stays fixed is because you get to get it all out.
Okay.
Now, you don't like talk to him about something today and he blow you off or respond satisfactory to you, and then you come back tomorrow, oh yeah, and another thing, and then he's like, I thought we settled this yesterday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. This is, do you consider my feelings over your ex-wife? Right? Okay. These are proof why you consider her feelings over your ex-wife.
Yeah,
Okay. I kind of see how you're saying, but at the same time, not. Okay.
Well, can I throw this one away and then get a different one?
Yeah.
Can I trash this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see that one. Which one you throwing away?
Because when you said that you don't see it, I can see why you don't see it because of that. That has nothing to do with the original.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you. And that's why people don't settle their agreement sometimes. They're not really talking about the same thing.
I got you. So, having said that,
what else you got? I'm not saying that's not enough. I'm just trying to dig and make sure you.
Like certain things that take place that makes me feel that way.
Yeah, this is your proof. Like if you're gonna survey 1,000 people, and you're trying to prove those 1,000 people that he doesn't prioritize like your girlfriend. If you was telling your girlfriend, what example would you give her to make her say, "Girl, I wouldn't put up with that"? This is another benefit of the game. You're able to sit down and resolve your issues, and you don't have to complain to your girlfriend and get responses like that.
Right.
And the idea is that when couples talk and understand each other better, their bond will grow stronger, and they'll just stay together forever. Oh.
Okay.
So we're at 20 minutes to do this part right here.
Okay.
Sometimes it takes a little. I think one lady had like 13 of these things.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So sometimes it's like, it don't take too long. Okay, the next step. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have 3. So this issue is made up of 7 details. As you can imagine, if she's throwing her 4 at you at the same time you throwing your 3 at her, it's still a bunch of chaos. So what we're going to do is we're going to prioritize these. We're going to write in step 3 how important they are on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being most important. Okay? If 2 are just like this, you can do a 9.9 and a 10.
Okay.
But you can't duplicate your number. Okay? So who's going to be player A? Who's going to be player B for this whole game?
I'll be B.
Okay. So in step 2, you'll write A, and you'll give this a number in step 3. 1 through 10. Yeah, so you circle B, and in step 3, you'll give it a number.
Okay.
Give this particular
This detail, right. How relevant it is to this issue.
So 10 is the highest?
10 is the highest.
Okay. Okay. And then we do the same with the others?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to take these 7 details, we're going to put them all together in order, with the most important on top. So your 10 is going to be on top. Try not to read them, just look at the numbers.
No, yeah, I'm trying to, yeah.
Now, ideally, if you both have the same numbers, you would alternate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have similar numbers.
Yeah.
Wow, we did. Did you see the numbers? Well, obviously you didn't put them in order. Okay.
So we're gonna. So we're gonna take these details and we're gonna focus on those one at a time.
Okay.
Okay. So let's pick up the detail, the top one, the most important, and push the other ones aside.
No,
just one.
Just one at a time.
Yeah, you're gonna do one at a time.
Okay.
Right. Whose is it?
Hers.
Okay, so let's give it to her. All the steps on this side of the paper. What's your name again?
Felicia.
You're going to handle. All the steps on the back side of the paper, Carlos is going to handle, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to tell him what you wrote and how important it is to you. Blah, 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 and that's a 10 to me. Okay?
Okay.
You're going to tell him.
Okay. When your ex makes a request, I feel you are always not always completely honest with me to fulfill her request, and that's important to me. Number 1 is
No,
you're not supposed to
the
do
number.
that. Just say
oh
the number.
number 10.
There are 14 steps on that card. You guys are going to go in order. Okay?
Okay.
Steps 4 is on the other side, which is for him to do. Now, steps 4 and 5, Carlos, these are the most important steps in the game. Here you have to repeat back to Felicia what you believe Felicia means in your own words. And follow that with, is that right? What that's going to do is, first, is going to allow her to feel heard. And 2, when you respond to her, you can respond to what she actually means, not what you thought she meant.
Sure.
So you guys will be on the same page here. Okay? So, and I need you to start with, what you're saying to me is...
So what you're saying to me is, I'm not always forthright with her requests. Is that right?
When you say forthright,
So,
you mean
very good. What he says you might feel is right, but if it's not what you mean, you're going to say no and give him another chance to
okay.
do
Can
it.
you elaborate on forthright?
Yeah, you don't think I'm telling the truth. You don't think I'm telling you the entire scenario or action or request.
So if you can say, start over again, if she says no, so what you're saying to me is, I want you guys to get in the habit. This is really important to say, of saying, so what you're saying to me is, because after a while, you don't have to sit down and play the game. You'll be walking around the house and something happened with the ex or the kid or something, and she'll say something and that might offend you or might whatever. And you can say, so what you're saying to me is, and that'll put both you guys in the mood. It let her know, I'm not trying to attack you. I'm just trying to understand you. Okay, it'll put both you guys in the mood of the game.
Okay.
So what you're saying to me is.
So what you're saying to me is, I don't always tell you the full scope of the request. Is that right?
Partially, yes.
Read it again.
Returns.
Read
The,
it, yeah.
the tail end of the sentence.
When your ex makes a request, I feel you are not always completely honest with me to fulfill her request.
That's the tail end to the fulfill her request.
Okay.
So what you're saying to me is you don't feel like I'm telling you the full scope of what the request is regarding the request? I mean,
Can I help him or?
Yeah, I want to point out that most of the time, couples say we're very good communicators, but see.
But I don't understand that.
Right, you see how you guys are struggling to understand. You're struggling to understand her point. Not that it's your fault; it could be her, but you're struggling to understand her point. And imagine what that would be like if she was frustrated or you was trying to defend yourself.
We've been there.
Yeah,
We've been there.
So I like for them to try like 3 times, and then you just try again. Okay. And this is also the reason why the area is small, so you can say little. You didn't make 2 full points, but your point was you had a little extra added onto it.
Right, and the extra added
That's the important part.
That was the important part.
Right. So can you tell him again?
Okay.
Or you can look at it.
Okay.
I mean, to me, there's an element of ambiguity because I don't understand what she's.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first part, of course, is when your ex made the request. I feel like you're not completely honest with me to full disclosure. But probably the most important to fulfill her request. So by the time you've come to me to share, you've already made up your mind that you're going to fulfill her request. You're just kind of letting me know, kind of speak. Okay. If that makes
okay. That ain't what I thought you were saying.
Oh,
I don't either. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's ambiguous.
Right, but we're men. You know what I'm saying? And we're not mind readers. But that's why the game is so valuable. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. So do your steps.
So what you're saying to me is, after a request has been made, I've already made the decision regarding the request. I'm just letting you know that I'm going to fulfill the request?
Pretty much.
So wait, is that right?
Is that right?
Yes.
So it's important that his job right now is to understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And if you answer, so he needs to know, he has to ask you, is that right? Mm-hmm. If you say yes before he's doing that, then he may still have something to say. And you might cut him off, and what he was thinking might be wrong.
Oh, okay.
So it's important to. Okay. All right. So we have yes. Step. So check yes. You have to get a yes before you move forward. Okay. You see why this step is the most important step? Because if you're trying to have a conversation and you're not even on the same page,
right?
You're thinking about one thing. He's not
so
even.
So can you repeat it then? Can you repeat it?
It's okay.
Because that confirms, let me know that you really.
So what you're saying to me is, after a request has been made, you feel like I'm already going to honor the request. I'm just letting you know what I'm doing, or I'm just letting you know what basically what I'm doing. Is that right?
That's the honesty. The honesty.
No, is that right or not?
Is it right or not?
You're partially telling me. That's where the not being completely honest.
Oh, yeah. So what happened here is first you keyed in on the first part of the thing and you left off the back part. Now that we got the back part right, you forgot the first part. So again, this is why it's important to just make one point.
It's like, that's why I said, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all, but this is very ambiguous to me because it's like you got multiple points you're trying to make instead of just making that one simple point.
And you're right. I mean, I very well could have took another card and added it on there. Okay. I mean, yeah.
But I just let it go. I should have but I thought it was. But I misunderstood it. If I knew for sure it was like that, I would have asked you to do another one. But it's okay. Yeah. We're on it. We're good now or no? Oh no, we're not good yet.
So. Can you do another card? Can she like separate this?
Okay.
Both of them need to be addressed though.
Okay.
So like, can you do like 2 cards and just make one for each and I'll throw this in the trash?
Okay.
And we want to keep that one. I'm just going to draw a line through it.
Okay.
Or can you just like mark out one part and then put that part that you mark out on this one?
Okay, that's fine.
Because you did say you said make 1 point.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's fair. So that's 1. Okay.
So put that part that you marked out on that one, and I'll answer each one individually. And then you gotta rate it too, but you can't rate it like you rated the other ones.
You can make it a 9.95.
It's now she's look at that.
Before. Sorry, y'all. I'm a detail person. I'm sorry. Okay, does that help? I'm just trying to help you out to make it clear to where you can understand.
What?
Okay.
Does that help him a little bit more?
That's
okay. And that's 9.95.
Make sure you circle A.
Oh, okay.
So these, no, you're not supposed to be looking at it. All right. So let's start over.
When your ex makes a request, I feel you are not always completely honest with me. You're not completely honest with me.
The relevance? And that's
What's your rating?
10.
Okay. Okay.
What you're saying to me is you don't believe that I tell you the full truth of whatever request is made.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I answered too quickly.
Good.
Okay.
So you learning. So next step. Step 6.
Detail as far as my response.
Is or is not true.
It's not true.
So circle. Now, as you can imagine, it's hard for a couple to resolve an issue when they can't even agree on the details.
Right.
So a lot of times, like it is not true, and they have to figure that out. And it helps.
The relevance.
How relevant is that to you that she feels like you're not honest to her, honest with her? You write it down, and then you tell her what you wrote. Okay. Now, step 8, you write down a short response. Staying focused on this detail. All right, so tell her what you wrote.
I always say the truth. I just don't focus on the request when it comes to him.
Steps 9 and 10, she has to repeat back to you what she believes you mean. So you need to keep it short too.
Yeah. So I don't focus. I always say the truth. I just don't focus on like the request when it comes to him.
So steps 9 and 10 are just like 4 and 5, the most important steps in the game. You have to repeat back to Carlos what you believe he means in your own words and follow it. Is that right?
So what you're saying, or what I hear you're saying.
You're not reading it right. I hate you saying that's not problem.
What you are saying
What you're saying to me is
what you are saying to me is that you're always telling me the truth, and you don't focus on her request when it comes to him.
Is that right?
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So what? Say it again. Tell me what you said again.
What you're saying to me is that you always tell me the truth, and you don't focus on her request when it comes to your son.
Yes.
Okay. As long as you know what that means.
The tail end of it is cloudy.
Okay. Step 11 is a focused discussion debate. Here you guys talk about this detail as it relates to the issue, the overall issue. Doesn't matter who starts first. You just talk.
Yeah. We're talking about honesty, always honest.
For some reason, like sometimes I feel like you don't believe what I say. It's like no matter what I say, you don't believe me.
Well, it's not. Okay.
Wait. This was her detail, and what you just said seems like a whole new game.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we're staying focused on this detail.
Okay, understood.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So we're talking about completely honest.
Right, and his response. Don't forget his response.
Yeah.
You know.
And your response is that even though honesty is a 10 for me, you made it an 8 for you. You said, I tell you the truth, however, I don't focus on the request when it comes to my son.
No.
Okay, so the discussion is, for me, the truth is always important to me. The honesty, I'm not saying that you just blankly out lie. I just don't think that you are completely honest, like you share a partial of the information with me. I may be considered, probably as you probably see on these cards, I'm more of a detailed person possibly than you. So I feel like I need to know the details, which may not be a big factor to you, but it's a big factor to me, especially, and you know why, especially because the comments that she has made that you might be married to me, but you do what she tell you to do. So that's still there. And so when I don't feel like I'm getting the whole detail of the ask or request, then I feel like you're just telling me something, just to be saying, well, I told you about it. If that makes sense. And I'm of course I know it's about, him, but we already know some of that she makes it about her, because she also said to you, if we were still married and I asked you to do this, you would have done it. So see, those things play a factor in your communication with me when you're honoring or attempt to honor a request of hers. Does that make sense?
It does, but you focus on more than what I focus on. I mean, you're dwelling on, first of all, you dwell on comments that neither one of us can control. The only thing we can control is how we respond to it. I don't give her the time of day. I don't feed into anything that she says. I try my best to not have to deal with her. I try my best to not deal with her at all. But the comments, you always reflect back to comments that were previously made. Because
she's still acting on that. She's acting on. It's not just something that she said and we don't see it. It's happening. It's happening.
And as I've said before, misery enjoys company, and I'm not joining her. I I do the best I can to make sure that he has what he needs, and that's it.
Of course.
And that's the focus.
And we want that. We want you to make sure that he has what he has.
All right.
It's just a matter of the boundaries, and I know it's a different.
It's okay if you have to.
Okay, the boundaries haven't been set in order for you to just do for yourself.
Understood.
Because she, in her mind, again, and she's shown that hand a number of times.
Yeah, but I don't feed into the foolishness. I never have and never will. But I get what you're saying.
But even though in your mind you're not feeding to the foolishness, you're responding to what she's asking you to do. You're honoring it.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
But again, in order for me to, I'm not big on conflict. If I think it's outlandish, I'm not doing it. If I think it's within reason, oh my God, whatever. That's how I feel. If I think the request is outlandish, I don't do it. If I think it's within reason, oh my God,
Well, I'm a reasonable person, so to me, I think some things, yes, are reasonable, and there's no beef about it, is there? But to me, some things is just outlandish that you may not think outlandish, that the way she went about it or whatever, she could have did it herself. And like she makes requests, but she also put demands in the request. And women can see through that. Like, I know what you're doing. And to you, just like, oh, well, I'm doing this for my son. So I'm going along. But unfortunately, that has shown up because you go along with so much, even on certain things that you probably should have set a boundary to. From my perspective as your wife, that you should have set a boundary to, you didn't. And then the smallest thing you say no to, the whole world comes to an end. She goes completely off because you didn't say yes. Because you so used to saying yes and didn't set the boundaries like, okay, you know what? I can do this, but I can't do this. It's typically yes, 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 yes.
It's actually not, but okay.
My perception, what you share with me, that's what I see. And even there's times when she's brought something to you, I even make a suggestion, especially if it doesn't fit in what we got going on. Hey, we can do, let her know, hey, we can do this, but can she do this? Or we can do it this day, and she can do this. Just trying to compromise. But it's always, she come up with a plan, and that's the plan that has to be followed. When she don't live in this house, she don't run this house. And she's not being susceptible maybe to things that we may have going on in place. She just think about, hey, I got to do this, but he needs to be here, and I need you to take him. And I need him to be back to me at a certain time because I'm going to do this next. Instead of saying, hey, we can do this, but you may have, if you got this going on, then you may need to do that. That's all I'm saying as far, and that's part, to me, that's part of setting the boundaries. That's my perception of that. Am I communicating?
I hear you.
Okay. Do you hear me? So,
Are you got any response?
Yeah.
And that's her perception. So
I know, but are you? This is a little back and forth thing right here. This is where you discuss that one detail, your response to her thing, and that's it.
yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from, but I mean, everything you said isn't necessarily. I mean, it's your perception, but that's not necessarily how things always go. I mean, you kind of, you feel indifferent about it more than I do. I don't focus on the foolishness. I don't focus on what she says. I never have, I never will. That's just, I mean, and you know, not too much is going to rattle me.
Right.
So, how things are delivered to me, whether it's her or anybody else, it takes a lot for me to. First of all, I'm not going to internalize it. I'll interpret it, but I'm not going to internalize it, and I'll respond accordingly. If I think it's something that's within reason, I'll do it. If I think it's outlandish, I'm not going to do it. So, and you know, I don't get up in arms about what she says, how she says it. You know, that's, I mean, again, you're the miserable one, not me. So, I'm not gonna feel indifferent about what you said or indignant about what you said and how you said it. That's just me. That's always been me.
Yeah.
And nothing's gonna change my temperament.
Right, and I'm not looking, and that's not a bad place to be as far as not allowing someone to rattle you.
But
my thing is, you respond to exactly what she wants.
Again, it's a matter of interpretation. That's your interpretation.
Or you fulfill her request.
That's your interpretation.
If I can make a suggestion, it seems like you guys don't have an agreement on that. That part. So what people can do, we don't have to do it now, but if you're playing a game sometime and you get to a spot like this, you could stop where you are, pull out another card. Do you respond to her request all the time?
Okay.
Settle that,
right,
and then come back to this.
Okay.
Because she seems to think that I respond to every request, but I don't.
Well, it sounds like I was waiting to hear you say, she asked me stuff, and I just say no, and I don't even tell you about that.
Right, but not because I don't.
But you didn't tell her that.
Yeah, I mean, I've told her before.
Okay.
I've told you before that, I mean, everything that she, you know, the stuff that the request that she makes, I tell her no. But when I tell her that I say no, it's like she doesn't believe me. So therefore, I just stop talking altogether because I'm like, man, I know what I do, you know.
Okay.
So.
No, when you tell me you've told her no, then I believe
but
that.
that's how I feel. You feel how you feel. I feel how I feel. I feel like you don't always believe me, so I don't say that.
No, I don't feel like sometimes don't believe you when I feel like there's more to the story than what you're telling me.
I literally just said, that's how I feel.
Okay.
So, requests are made, I say no. And that's it. And no, to me, no means no. If I'm telling you, I'm not going to do it. That's it, end of discussion.
Okay. That's fine, and I don't recall a time where you said it like that and I questioned it.
But I don't talk like that. I mean, I just say that I've told her no several times for several requests that she's made, and that's it. And I don't say nothing else.
So maybe you don't hear about those.
So, but again, not too much. The way you respond and the way I respond to certain things, it's complete opposite. Like you voice your concerns, I don't. You voice how you feel about something, I don't, because I don't put too much stock into it. I never have. I mean, you that's one of the things that you said you really wish I would do more. You've told me you want to know how I feel. You want to know more about how I feel. I mean, honestly, if something doesn't really rattle me, I don't say anything about it. I'm like, whatever, and I dismiss it and move on. But you say I'm passive aggressive. Which is a totally different. That's another card we gotta pull out.
Okay. So are you through talking about this detail, you think?
As far as honesty, yes.
Okay. You have anything else to say about it? Okay. So that was step 11. If you finish with step 11, check. There's a checkbox there. You're going to say, I feel better because, and share with her, and write down what you took from this interaction, what you might have learned, what you might have realized, or what might make you feel better.
So I feel better because I've told you about how I feel about the totality of the situations. I don't let this stuff bother me. You know, requests are made. Some are honored, some aren't. You know, again, as I said just a minute ago, you put more stock into it than I do when I'm the one that's actually subjected to whatever is being asked. It doesn't bother me. You know, even how it's presented to me doesn't bother me because, again, I can't control the outside influence. I can only control how I respond to it.
Okay.
I mean, I feel better because you kind of see how, well, at least I'd like to think you see how resilient I am when it comes to negativity.
Well, I know that. I already know that about you as far as how you respond to resilient you are when it comes to negativity. But that's not it. It's the card is about honesty and I think that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Completely honest.
Yeah, well, I feel better because I told you about how I feel about the totality of everything. I mean, I don't let it bother me. I understand where you're coming from when it comes to the honesty. You want complete honesty. Yeah, I get that. I understand that. But at the same point in time,
you said that you felt and you understood why I felt honesty because I feel like that you leave stuff out, like little holes in the stuff that you're communicating with.
Because it's insignificant to me.
But it's significant to me.
Some stuff is insignificant to me, which is why I don't say anything to you.
I get that. I get that.
But you also made a comment earlier that comments have been made about what she says, I may be married to you, but I'm still going to do what she, blah, blah, blah. I mean, so what? I don't care about what she says.
Ultimately, I don't care about what she says either, but when I see that those requests have been fulfilled based on what she said, to me, you're honoring what she's saying.
The stuff that she said, she hasn't said it directly to either one of us. She said it in jest to somebody else so you could hear it. Which to me, that's totally irrelevant. To me, that shows how immature. That shows a lack of maturity. That shows a lack of refinement.
Understood. And she's not refined. That's perfectly fine. But it's one thing if somebody says something and say they're gonna do something and it's not being honored, or they say it and they're not acting on it. But it's another thing when they put it out there, they're acting on it and it's being responded to, it's being fulfilled. I
feel better because I've told you the totality of the situation.
Okay.
So ideally, he would say, I feel better because blah, blah, blah. And then step 13, you're going to say, I feel better because. The idea of all that conversation you guys just had, you would have had in step 11. You would get it all out.
Okay. Oh, okay. We went back.
I tried to say I feel better because I feel better.
Yeah. It's okay. So here, step 13, you're going to say, you feel better because.
And the focus was honesty.
You have to write first.
Okay.
This makes you think deeper than you typically do.
It slows it down enough for you to do that.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to write first. Too. It makes you think, gives you a chance to think before you write. And it's also giving the other person a chance to think.
I feel better because although I may not get details, it confirms honesty.
So the next step, step 14, it's on your side of the page, Felicia, but it's a step you both have to do. And it's two parts. The first part is you guys have to agree, yes or no, was there any progress with this one detail?
The part of the one detail as far as honesty, yes.
Yeah, this one detail.
This is one detail.
Yeah. Honesty,
but
yes.
You both have to agree though, Felicia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The second part is was there enough progress to resolve this issue?
The detail?
Was enough progress with that detail to settle this issue?
No.
Okay. So if one of you say no, then it's a no. Now what you're going to do is take the next most relevant issue in the stack, detail in the stack.
It's my 10.
Okay.
I don't talk or deal with my ex-wife unless I absolutely have to.
How relevant is it?
For me, it's a 10.
Okay. Step 4 is next. So we're just going to go 1 through 14.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So what you are saying to me is...
You got to write it.
No. There's no writing on that one.
Oh,
Sorry, yeah.
Okay.
So what you're saying to me is that you have no dealings with her, or you don't communicate with her unless you absolutely have to?
You got to do step 5.
Is that right?
Yes. that's part of the game, isn't
That's
it?
how you play the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
No. What next? What comes after 5?
That's it.
That's on her side.
That's on your side.
This detail is or is not true.
That's true.
And how relevant is that as it relates to this issue?
It's a 10. I would agree it's a 10. It's a 10, right? Yeah.
And step 8, you write your response. Ideally, she would know, since she's looking at the card, that you're next, and she would hand you the card.
I have just one statement, and it's okay. I mean, I respect his response when it says, I don't talk or deal with my ex unless I absolutely have to. To me, that's not a just so I'm clear, is that a response to my statement detail?
That's
my detailed statement?
No, that's his defense for the issue.
His defense.
Was,
but the issue
do
was,
you consider my feelings over your ex-wife?
Mm-hmm.
That's his.
That's his defense to
For
that?
yes, yeah.
Okay, got it. I just wanted to clarification there. Okay. I agree you do not have any dealings or talk with your ex. Only when necessary.
Okay.
So what you're saying to me is you agree that I don't have to deal with her unless I absolutely have to. Is that right?
I agree with that. Yes. But what if I have a but? Not yet.
Yeah,
And the only
not yet.
reason why, because to me that's not the issue, is the fact that you're having dealings with her.
Okay. Right now, he's trying to make sure he understands what you said.
Okay.
Did he understand it?
Yeah.
He said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So step 11, focus, discussion, debate, probably a good time for the but.
Okay. Got it.
And hopefully we get it all out in step 11.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm in agreement that he doesn't have any, extra dealings or talk with her only when necessary.
Yeah.
I agree with that. However, it's just when the request is made, that's when the request is made. That's when I feel the way you respond to her bothers me. When the specific request is being made.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, we don't have no problems. But when it, if you got to have a conversation with her, whatever, there's no problem there. It's just when she comes up with these unreasonable request that she expects for you to fulfill. And I guess that maybe be a thing, is maybe it's not considered unreasonable for you, but it's unreasonable for me as your wife.
Here you guys are supposed to be having a conversation. You didn't say anything yet, I don't think.
No, I didn't. I mean, I understand where she's coming from, but.
But what?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
What part of it you understand? I mean, it's supposed to be a discussion.
Yeah, right. I understand where you're coming from.
Dads.
That what? That's my response. I understand where you're coming from.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not supposed to put in, but I think she wants to know what your understanding is.
Yeah.
Understanding is, you know I don't have any dealings with her unless there's a request. Naturally, depending on what the request is, either it'll get honored or it won't.
And some of the requests that you do honor, I still feel like they're unreasonable. And even though you know that I feel they're unreasonable, you go ahead and fulfill it anyway.
But you're basing it on comments that have been made indirectly towards the both of us, which I don't really stuff like that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
This last time, you made a big deal about me taking him down to Columbia to see him in a he's part of the drone team. You made a big deal about me taking him down to Columbia for this competition. He asked me to take him.
Yeah, but she also asked you to take him.
Yeah, we had a discussion before, but he also asked me to take him, and of course.
Yeah, and of course, again, but it wasn't just a matter of.
He asked me to take him, and I said yes. But you're basing it on the fact that he had to be back by a certain time because they had something else going on. That wasn't my concern. My biggest concern was the fact that he asked me to take him. Now, whether or not he was influenced to ask me, I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't care. But the bottom line is he asked me to take him. And I said, sure. And I enjoyed it. It was boring, but I enjoyed the fact that, I could see him in action because I didn't know too much about what he did. I saw him in action. It was cool. I brought him back. That was it.
Yeah. And anything like that, of course, I support that. But the part that you left out was she reached out to you and asked you, and you said, and her response was, can you take him to Columbia? But I have something to do with him at a certain time. Can you have him back here at a certain time? Your response to her was, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
And I thought that was ideal. Thinking that he and I were going to discuss it. You and I were going to discuss it. And then you get back with her because, of course, I want you to support him. But when she put these stipulations like, okay, I need you to take him, but then you got to have him back. But what if we would have took him and we wanted to make a day out of it? We're basing everything on what she's saying. And I'm not, just so you know.
You had something to do anyway, so you couldn't even go.
It's the principle. It's the principle of it.
The principle of it was, I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, you keep dwelling on the fact that she put these quote-unquote stipulations on it. You're speaking in terms of to me, you're talking about hypotheticals. If we had this, if we did, there were no ifs.
But
I didn't have a problem bringing him back because I didn't want to be down in Columbia all day long. When it was over, we left. I dropped him off in the discussion. I came home.
Right, but then when you brought it to my attention, when you were telling me about it, you initially said that, you know, well, we could just take him and drop him off, and then you and I can make a day out of hanging out in Columbia.
Right. But you had something. I didn't know you had something to do.
Right, but I'm responding to the statement that you just made. It's like, I wasn't trying to hang out and we weren't trying to make a day out of it. You said that I wasn't. Your plan was just going up there, taking them and coming back. You know, I'm just, to me, it's the contradictions in the statements. And to me, that's when I felt that you weren't being completely honest with me, because I saw the text message, but you didn't know I saw it. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to wait for him. He said, oh, I'll let you know. I was like, okay, cool. I'm thinking to myself, you're going to come to me. We're going to talk about it, you know, and decide from there. But when you came to me about it, you told me partial. And then not knowing, and I even asked just to see if you would be honest with me. Well, is she going? And your response was, you didn't know. But you knew she wasn't going because she asked you to take him. And then you said, well, we don't have to go. We don't have to take him. We could just drop him off and you and I make a day out of it. And I said, well, if I'm going, I want to go to support him. I don't want to just drop him off, you know. And so it was just a bunch of just contradicting to me. And I know you don't like confrontation. And so I don't know if you were starting to get a little antsy with that, would feel like you was being confronted with something, but it was just little pockets of inconsistency in the conversation. Is what I'm saying. But, you know, he went. You know, you took him. It was great. You know, he did well. You got to support him. That was fine. But once again, it came up to me. It was partial dishonesty because I got parts of something. Okay. And even though when you knew I had a problem with it, you continued to communicate with her on fulfilling her request. Even though we never brought it up again in our home, you just went on. I didn't know that it was still going on and happening because we had the conversation and then it just kind of went left, and so we never had the conversation again. And then weeks later, you know, you were telling me the day before we're going to Columbia. I was like, oh, okay. So you continued on with her request and how she wanted it, and you had them back here in time, which is fine for her to do what she wanted to do. If she had those type of stipulations to me, and she had some things to do, she should have took him. That way she could be control of what time they get back, and she can get back in time to do what she needed to do. That was my point, and it didn't have anything to do with I think somebody heard or what she said. It was just being reasonable and being unreasonable. That's all I'm saying. And her child was trying to control a situation. To me, that was by control. And I know this is why we're having this conversation, because we haven't been, you and I have not been able to see eye and eye, and so we don't even really talk about it. Which I'm not even getting eye contact from you now, so, you know, it's just supposed to be a discussion, and so that's what we're discussing.
This is supposed to be the part where I'm supposed to feel better about something.
No, this is you guys on the discussion part.
Mm-hmm.
So she said something, maybe you have some response to it.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Are you bothered by what she said? Okay. This is just how you are. This is how you...
Yeah, I mean, I take it all in and that's it.
Okay.
I mean, you said what you said and that's it.
Okay. So, are you finished?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, you're going to check block 11.
Okay. 12, takeaway. I feel better because, I mean, based on
This is a writing. You have to write.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, first.
But I wanted to confirm what I'm feeling better about. This detailed statement right here?
This part, step 12, is you feel better or because you learned something or you realized something with the interaction you just had.
Okay. Can I read this out loud? I feel better because I see through the discussion he's consistent with his answer.
Was there any progress on this detail?
I mean, it's your card.
No.
Well, we have to
You guys
agree.
have to agree.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd like to hear your point of view first, since it was your.
I mean, yeah. I don't talk to her. I mean,
Yeah.
listen, yeah. Did we win the game? I mean, I feel like we did because again, I don't deal with her. I mean,
I know you don't deal with her. Do you think we won the game through the discussion?
I anticipated a long, drawn-out answer from you.
Okay.
So what happens when you win? You still, if you say yes, then you tell each other what you wrote on the other cards for full disclosure and how relevant they were to you. And if you want to talk about it, you can. If you don't win, then you pick up the card and you
Go to the
play.
next one.
You play, yeah.
Okay.
But you do get to talk about everything. So whatever.
Okay. We still can talk. Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah, let's consider a win.
Are you sure?
I mean, you were consistent in your statement as far as that, you don't have any dealings with her or talk with her, which, I mean, I already knew that. So in this instance, yeah, I guess that's a win.
Okay. How long has this been an issue?
Since we've been together,
How long is that?
14 years.
And why do you think you were able to come to some kind of better feeling today? How did you think the game helped?
I think the game really helped. It really slowed it down. Like you were just saying, to make you help to kind of think and process each thing versus talking back and forth. He pretty much already, like he stated and confirmed, anticipated what I was going to say anyway.
I mean, I did.
So,
And here's the thing. So when it comes to any type of discussion, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. I anticipate that she's going to give an expose, a missive. It doesn't matter what we talk about. I mean, we could be talking about decorating the house or something. I'm not much of a talker. I'll give you a response, and once I say it, I'm done. Whereas she typically gives an epistle on something. I mean, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful towards you at all. Again, you're more detail oriented than I am. I'm pretty much abstract to the point. Boom, that's it. Whereas you're more the devil's in the details. I mean, you're more detail oriented, and you will explain, sometimes overly explain, in my opinion, your thoughts. And again, that's who you are. Whereas I'm kind of just concrete, sequential. Let's boom, boom, boom. That's it. I mean, her thoughts are more abstract than mine, as you can tell.
That's the difference that I see in general, between guys and girls anyway. Like I said, she might have 10 cards and you're sitting there with 3. They just have more to say. So now you guys take the next card, whoever it is, tell them what you wrote and how relevant it is.
And can I go back to one thing?
Oh, yeah.
So when she was talking, she said, well, you're not giving me eye contact. Because I knew where you went. I knew what she was going to say. And so I feel like the more I look at her, the more she's going to talk. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, if I don't look at it, at some point she'll get the hint, she'll stop. And again, that's just.
So with that being said, truthfully, are you really hearing me?
And I knew she was gonna say that. Yes.
Okay.
There's a difference between hearing and listening, at least in my opinion. Are we going in order by? Because she's got a 9.9 too.
It doesn't matter at this point.
Here,
Like you can take all yours and give her or hers.
Well, here, okay. So that's yours. That's mine. 9.8. 9.8. You got a 9, and these are yours. All these are yours.
Okay. Now maybe in order, you can tell the other person what you wrote.
Okay, when you communicate to me this request, it appears that you have already decided to fulfill the request before talking with me.
And relevance.
Relevance is 9.95. Although I go in with an open mind, you become defensive when I question or give my thoughts regarding her request.
That's a
9.9. I haven't witnessed you set boundaries with her and the difference in her behavior or request over the years. She expects from you as if you are still married to her.
that was a lot.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure what that means, but it's at least 2 cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to elaborate on there, so based on when he said there's times where he said he told her no and just didn't mention it to me, it still had not changed the behavior. Her behavior has not changed, like the boundaries. If you told her no, most of the time when people are told no, they get that you're setting boundaries for them. And so because if you're telling her no, I've yet to see the difference. That's what I'm trying to say there. Right. He can't force her to do right, but how he responds, like he said, how he responds to her, that's when it counts here in this house.
But he said, okay. All right. And that's a what?
That's a 9.8.
Okay.
You want to respond to say anything?
I've come to the resolve that it doesn't matter what I say, she's going to ultimately think what she wants to think anyway. And I've said some of the things that in terms of giving her confirmation, I've said it before. But it's like, she doesn't take, I don't think she takes in consideration what I say.
Okay.
No,
So I've resigned to the fact to not say anything at all.
Okay. So that would be all these are different games, by the way. So it's just, we're doing one issue at a time. But
so, naturally, when I have tried to provide some type of confirmation, I feel like it's not even heard. Yeah. So that's why I don't say anything.
You had to deal with her son's dad or something. I don't know.
I did, but I mean, I didn't. He used to say stuff and do stuff, but after a while, I was like, man, forget this. I'm not gonna stress myself up with somebody that I can't control what he says or does. Yeah. I can only control how I respond to it. Either I take the high road or I take the low road, and hell, we end up brawling. So I'm like, forget it.
Yeah, but go ahead.
But no, what she always says is, well, I put boundaries in place. No, you didn't. You didn't put boundaries in place for what my thought process. No, you didn't.
I knew my ex would come with belligerent ways.
But again,
I knew that coming in. So I set boundaries in the beginning with him.
For you. No. You didn't set boundaries in place for me.
So he wouldn't feel some kind of way. Okay? To where like disrespect our relationship. Yeah. So to speak.
So I shouldn't have interjected because now we brought some other stuff in. I'm sorry, but
now he respects him. He shakes his hand. He greets him. Although he makes it about his son, who is wonderful. It's about her, the ex, not son.
And that's the
rating.
9.
Okay.
When he and I started to get serious, and again, I know it don't have anything to do with that, but there's certain things, even I'm a woman, and of course women see what other women do, just like men see what other men are doing. Something that I might not see that a man is trying to do, he can see it clearly, vice versa. But when we decided to get serious, both of this is our second marriage. I made it clear, number one, honesty. Okay, I made that clear, honesty. Number two, I'm not marrying you for your money. I have my own money. I'm marrying you for security, as far as that you have my back. I came in it with that. As far as this is where I am. And if I'm going to be with you, this is my expectations.
Okay.
And anybody else, he fulfills that. Anybody else, even sometimes when I know I got it, I don't need you to intervene. I got this. He's there. The security is there. And see, what some women's security is financial security. It's not financial security for me. It's having my back against anybody. So that's part of that. And to me, when you have a crazy or belligerent ex, setting no boundaries shows me you got my back. So when I feel that those boundaries hadn't been set, and I know you're saying that I'm mad at anger, whatever the case with her, we already know what kind of person she is. She's shown that hand a number of times. As a matter of fact, she showed it this week. She threatened to beat Carlos's behind pretty much. Okay? Because he said no. Okay? But
only a fool would have fed into it.
Right. He didn't, and I'm glad he didn't. And but so she already showed her hand. I already she's not even on my level. So I'm definitely not even threatened by her or whatever the case is. My look is here. My look is here. I've always been protected by my dad. I've always been protected by my older brothers. Now this is my husband. I look for the same thing. Including his ex-wife.
Yeah.
From her. So just to sum it up, that's what it comes down to.
Which you really don't need protected from, though, right?
I don't need like physical protection from her.
Yeah, just emotional.
That security, yes, emotional security, knowing that.
What's emotional?
Knowing that emotionally, if knowing how she carries on, and the direct things she's done to me, even though I never allowed her to know that those things affected me, that you spoke up and had my back. Hey, like it or not, this is my wife. And, this is the line. This is the line.
Are you saying he did that or not?
I feel like it has not been done.
Okay.
So I know it appears that I'm her, but I'm looking. She gonna do what she want to do.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward from him because she gonna do what she want to do.
Okay.
I'm looking from him, and when he say I don't believe him, to me, action speaks louder than words. You can tell me all day long, but I'm going by what I see.
Yeah. I'm just curious, how many times? First, I have two questions. What is it that he needs to do to make you feel different?
Set boundaries.
No. What does that mean?
What does that mean, set boundaries?
Yeah, give me an example.
Like when she comes up with these direct requests, and we all know, we all been married before. We know the difference between a request that you will ask your husband versus you would ask the father of your children, and you're not together anymore. Okay, and based on those type of requests, if those boundaries were set based on the type of request.
No. What I'm asking you is, give me an example of something she might ask, and how he would respond that would make you feel like, okay, he's setting boundaries. He's protecting me.
Oh, okay.
You listening, Carlos?
I absolutely am.
Okay. You don't have to be something that happened. Just think of an example. Imaginary example, something. Just so we can be clear on what, because we are bad at reading minds, really.
I've asked the same question before. What exactly do I need to do? What do you want me to do? Stoop to her level of ignorance?
No.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah. So I'm asking her, what is it?
When we had this conversation before, I asked him when it was in the heat of something that was going on with her at the moment, because obviously nothing's it is now. Yeah, I mean, remember when
He's asking me.
Okay, so it was a situation where she was having him to yeah. This is when he was in school getting his doctorate. So he working full time, picking him up from school every day and taking care of that part and doing schoolwork. And by the time he would get home, he passed out. Okay. So then she was wanting him, they typically meet, which is a reasonable place to meet, to drop off and pick up. But she was wanting him to start going across town to where she works when she was doing after school activities, okay, and taking him over there. So then he came to me, pretty much complaining about it, complaining. Now I got to go take him all the way across town, or I think she wanted him to, instead of them meeting at their halfway point, she wanted him to bring her to her house, which is further. And so, but he was complaining to me. I'm like, well, I'm not the one that you need to be complaining about. You can just clearly tell her no. Okay. So then he got defensive with me because that was my response to it. And so I was like, well, he said, well, I'm telling you and I'll tell her too. So I called her and I said, Carlos has something to tell you. Because so you're complaining to me about her request, but then you will do it. But you complain to me about it. So this is your time to tell her,
So sound like.
So what happened when I got her on the phone? He went silent.
No,
I'm getting to the point where you asking me what I would have asked him to do.
Yeah. Okay.
When I got her on the phone, he went silent. He wouldn't say nothing. What he had just was fussing about. And so I said it on his behalf to her. Wasn't rude, wasn't nasty. Just like, hey, he running here, A, B, C, and D. By the time he get home and you're adding in these extra extended requests, by the time if he eats and get home, he's passed out. And he got to get up at 4 a.m. to go, and all this stuff starts all over again, And so she said, oh, well, that's his son. He'll do whatever he needs to do. Yeah, while you running to death. Okay? And so then he went quiet. Even when she got smart with me, he didn't even speak up for me while I was on the phone and had her on speaker. So to answer your question, and when that was going on, what I needed him to do was speak up. Not only tell her what he's not going to do, but also when she got smart with me to speak up, hey, that's my wife you talking to. You're not going to talk to my wife any kind of way. This is where the protector would have came in. You're not going to talk to my wife any kind of way. This is my wife.
Okay.
That's what I needed from him.
Okay.
And I never got it. And then when he asked me, what do I need to say to her? That's what I asked him to do. And he said he wouldn't do it.
Okay. How long was that? I'm just trying to, is it?
It was a few years ago.
Okay. So.
Just to kind of respond to that you said I was complaining to you. I said that in jest because I was like, man, now I got to take him down to Carolina High School. I just said it just in jest like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I didn't. at no given at no point in time was I making a reference towards I just said it in jest.
Okay.
Her calling her was kind of pointless because I was like, why are you even doing this? That's to me, it's unnecessary. It was pointless because you know you're dealing with somebody that's crazy.
You don't know why she did it?
No.
She did it because.
But.
Wait, you don't know? You don't know why?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I know why she did it.
Why she do it?
I mean, out of regard for me. But at the same point in time, it's like, okay, if
I think she did it because she wanted to see you stand up for her.
Oh.
I mean, she appreciated. I mean, she was looking out for you, but this was like a perfect time that she could do it. Probably look out for you and have you tell her no. But I think on the phone when you didn't respond.
It put me in a dark place.
So that's why I asked how long ago was that? Because a lot of times when people play a game, there's an issue that'll come out that the other person didn't really realize was an issue, and it's been going on a while.
You're right.
So the game, I don't know if we did all that just to get to that thing. That's probably been horrible for her.
Yeah.
And you probably, but you being you like she crazy. You know, don't even think about it. You know, no big deal. But your gentle wife, woman here, you know, she probably needs more assurance.
You're right.
That.
Right. Well, you know, and with all due respect towards my wife, you know, well, let me just go and do this.
Okay.
I call you all the time. Well, so I got two, and I rated one slightly over the other, but it all, to me, they run together. I call you all the time, even from work, to tell you how much I love you. And that's 9.9. I make sure that you're my top priority, and I avoid talking to my ex-wife, which was part of the other card. That's a 9.8. You know, in spite of all, you know, all the negativity, in spite of all the, well, I shouldn't say the negativity, in spite of all the foolishness that may occur, you know, I'd like to think that you know you're my top priority. You know, the old adage, when people show you who they are, believe them. Clearly, I mean, I jokingly tell people, got the right child with the wrong mama.
You got the
right child,
oh.
The wrong baby mama. Because you know, my boy, he's a good kid.
He's a really good kid.
Good kid, really good kid.
He makes it easy.